Right. Hello, everyone, and officially welcome to our DROM for Seniors info session today. My name is Emily, and I'm the founder of Stronger You Senior Fitness. And so maybe you're wondering, hey, why is the founder of Stronger You Senior Fitness talking to us about DROM for Seniors? What's the connection here? So let me start by telling you a little bit about myself and the journey to Stronger You being the home for DROM for Seniors. I started my career in community chronic disease management, so working with older adults who were recovering from heart attacks, strokes, older adults with COPD, diabetes, arthritis, really any kind of chronic condition that you could think of. And then I found the world of senior living, where not only was I teaching exercise to older adults, but I was driving an 18-passenger bus. I was struggling my way through art programs. I was doing all the things. And so I worked as a recreation assistant and then a manager and then a regional manager of recreation, where I supported 49 retirement communities spread across the country. And it was in that role, as well as my previous management role, where I did some regional work for that company too, where I saw that fitness was the biggest area of opportunity, where there was a real need for quality education tools, class content to help those who are teaching fitness to older adults to be able to offer really high quality fitness experiences. So I did a search first, far and wide, to see if anything like Stronger You Senior Fitness existed, and nothing did, which really surprised me. And so I say how the story goes is out of frustration and passion, I decided to create the solution that my team and so many others across the world needed as well. And so we have a lot of really special values and beliefs around fitness and physical activity that I'll talk about soon. But this is how the opportunity for Drum for Seniors came into my lap, where the creator of the program, Val Shaw, she had created something called the DROM practice, drumming and mindfulness together. And there was a course that she had created for activity, recreation, and fitness professionals. And she had a lot going on in her world, and so was looking for someone to take over the programming and really support it in the way that she was hoping it would be supported. And so a mutual colleague of ours said, hey, you should reach out to Emily from Stronger You Senior Fitness. She introduced the program to me. I fell in love because, as I mentioned, our very specific values and the things we believe about physical activity, lo and behold, she had a lot of that already within the course. And so we took this amazing program that she created, this practice she created, and merged it with our specialization with older adults and our class content that people really come to us for. And so Drome for Seniors was born. And so that was about nearly 2 years ago now. In the fall, it'll be 2 years. Oh, sorry, in the winter, not until January 1st. It'll be 2 years old. So we love having Drome for Seniors as part of our family at Stronger You Senior Fitness. So I already alluded to this. You might be wondering, Drome. That's a weird word. What does that mean? Well, DROM stands for drumming, the drum, and mindfulness, the om put together. So the word is pronounced drome. And it is this amazing program that not only brings the benefits of cardio drumming, but also mindfulness. Let me click over here. All right. So already kind of recap this. We're an education company, first of our kind globally. We have established partnerships all around the world. And what we offer is online education, 30 minutes of new class content monthly, seated and standing. We have both the Stronger You and Drome for Seniors Instructor courses. And we'll talk more about this in the next few slides, but creating a fitness experience with something for everyone using the 6 dimensions of wellness. This is what really stood out to me when I met with Val and learned about the Drome practice, is that yes, just like us, it's not all about the fitness, but it's about something more. And like I said, we serve recreation, activity, life enrichment professionals, primarily working in senior living organizations. So anything from long-term care, skilled nursing, assisted living, independent living, also community-based organizations, 50 plus clubs, even gyms, right, are wanting more specialized older adult programming. And we also have post-secondary partnerships as well, where colleges and universities will either have us come in to do workshops with their students, or they put our courses right into their curriculum. And so, our goal as an organization is to bridge the gap between knowledge and practice. So, there are many amazing fitness courses out there, general fitness courses where you'll learn a lot of knowledge, you'll learn some exercises, but then it's ultimately up to you to take that knowledge and take those exercises and put it into practice. It was interesting. I've known this all along, but I love hearing examples of this in the real world. I was at a conference and the presenter was actually presenting on drumming fitness, drumming cardio for older adults. And someone asked about certifications, and she said, "Yeah, we did XYZ certification." I won't actually say the name of the certification that she said. She said, "Our team did it." She said, "But the problem was that about, I think, 30 of the team members went through it. Only about three ended up actually teaching the program because they were really struggling with how to create their own class content." And so I don't love hearing that people weren't able to implement their programming, but I was really sort of happy to hear that because that's what we aim to do with Drone for Seniors is bridge that gap between knowledge and practice. So this won't be just another certification that you learn and then you're not quite sure what to do with it, how to make it into a true 30, 45, or 60-minute class. And then debunking misconceptions about aging and exercise. So I do a lot of work at conferences, associations, webinars, things like that around helping us to do what we need to do to help our population age successfully. And that it's not just gentle exercise or stretching. We need to do so much more to help them to thrive as they age. Okay, so let's talk about the Drone for Seniors experience. So each Drone for Seniors class has three parts that we take our group through. The first is the getting grounded practice. It's about 5 minutes. All of our classes are based on a 30-minute model, but within the course, it teaches you how to mix and match to create 45 or 60-minute class formats. But our philosophy is that it's easier to build than it is to figure out what to remove. So if you wanted to do this as a 60-minute or a 45-minute, you could make this getting grounded practice 8 minutes or 10 minutes to expand your time. But we give you 5 minutes to start. And within the getting grounded practice, we're welcoming participants to the practice. We are focusing on tall posture. We're focusing on purposeful breathing and then the mindfulness piece. And so each getting grounded practice typically has a theme. So the theme might be gratitude, it might be letting go, it might be purpose, it might be possibilities. And so we lead them through a guided practice where they're getting some time to inwardly reflect on that theme. And so you get a script. And you can read it right off the piece of paper if you want. But what we actually suggest in the course is that you read it ahead of time, get a feel for it, and then you deliver it as naturally as you speak. And that might be as loosely or as closely as you see fit to the actual written paper. So I'll also caveat this by saying, prior to bringing on Drone for Seniors, mindfulness was not really a thing that I had a lot of practice with. You could probably tell I'm a pretty upbeat, sort of energetic person. And with this getting grounded practice, it's really about taking your group and slowing things down and bringing them into the present moment so that way we're able to get more out of the next portion, which is the getting energized practice. So just to wrap up on the getting grounded practice, if you're like, this sounds weird, I don't know if I can do this, just know that we're going to give you all the training and it doesn't have to be as, yogi-esque as you think it does. Your participants are going to want you to do it in a way that really rings true to the way you are, okay? Now, the getting energized portion. So this is 20 minutes. It's the main section of the program. Again, you can match them together or just add additional tracks to be able to increase the length of the getting energized portion. And this is where we've got our drumsticks and we are banging that drum. We are working on our heart, lungs, and brain. We talk about all of the amazing benefits, which are so well researched as well. Incredible benefits of drumming thing, and one of them is the brain. And that's another thing that really stood out to me when I talked to Val about this program is that's a really important part for us at Stronger You too, because the brain, that's one of the top areas of concern for older adults is they want to keep their brain sharp. Sometimes they couldn't care less about exercise or not falling or staying fit. But if you ask an older adult if they're concerned about not getting Alzheimer's or dementia, that is a big, big concern for a lot of older adults today. So within the course, you'll learn about the different ways to invite people to your program. And what we always say is it's not about saying, come move your body or come exercise. It's about knowing what's important to each individual, whether that be brain health, whether that be a social experience, and inviting them to the program based on what's important to them. And then we end off with our final 5 minutes, which is our calm practice. Now, the first 2.5 minutes of the calm practice is what we call the DROM journey. So at this point, we actually put the sticks down, we move our ball away to the side, and we'll talk about equipment in a second too. And we do this amazing sequence of stomps, claps, slaps. We're using our voice, we're doing ha, and it's just a very just natural version with our bodies of sort of drumming-esque movement. And it really just brings us back down in a really beautiful way. And then we end by revisiting that initial theme. So if we were talking about the theme of possibilities in our getting grounded practice, we come back to that theme of possibilities. And maybe we're reflecting on what the class was like for us today, what we experienced, as well as we're thinking about what we can do to take this feeling with us the rest of the day and into the rest of the week. So that is the Drone for Seniors class setup. Now, in terms of the physical setup, we get this question a lot. Really, the only thing that you need to make this program come alive is drumsticks, and they don't actually have to be drumsticks. They could be chopsticks, they could be pool noodles, they could be everyone brings their own thing from home if you work in the community, right? It could be bring in, a kitchen spoon or bring in drumsticks, bring in something. If you work with any groups who are recovering from stroke or have arthritis, the pool noodle is a really, really great option because it allows for that larger, more relaxed grip. And then, of course, you don't have them be 10 feet, you cut them down to 2 or 3 feet. So they're able to really drum with those noodles. Now, in terms of the ball or the drum, I know a lot of times we think of cardio drumming, we think of needing these big, balance exercise balls. And those can be really, really hard to store. So instead, what we actually recommend is a lot of organizations already have chairs with a padded seat, whether that's with arms or without arms. And so what we recommend is just drumming on the padded seat chair. Okay. And so that will dampen the sound because, as we know, working with older adults, hearing aids are not in love with high-pitched banging sounds. And so just having the dampening, you're still going to hear it. It's going to be a loud program, but just having that dampening of the sound with the chair, also for the hands and the wrists for the vibration and the impact, hitting on something like some people will use buckets turned upside down, right? Again, loud noise and not as friendly for the wrists and the hands. So we do recommend drumming on something soft. Now, let's say you don't have chairs with a padded seat. Maybe you just have plastic or metal folding chairs. What we recommend is just, going to a dollar store, any kind of store, and just buying a small throw towel, and if you can fold it in half or fold it in four depending on how big it is, and putting that on the seat just to really dampen it a little bit. If you work in a community setting, we've had people say everyone bring in a throw pillow and then your own homemade drumsticks. And so people are bringing in kitchen spoons, they're bringing in a random throw pillow, and they just put it down on their seat and they take their drum home with them afterwards. So there's a lot of creative ways to bring this program to life without having to actually have the drum balls and the drumsticks. In terms of the drumsticks, they are pretty affordable to buy on Amazon, packs of 25, packs of 50, for anywhere from $20 to $30. So usually not too big of a cost when it comes to buying drumsticks, if that's a route you want to go. All right. Now let's talk about the Drone for Seniors instructor course. Just like the class, it has three parts to it. Part one is all about the Drone for Seniors methodology and the benefits of the program, all of that research within it. Okay. Oh, Anthony, do you have a question? Or just waving? You're good. Okay. Part two, learn about Drone for Seniors' three key elements. So this is where you're starting to get to introduce yourself to the three key elements and the why behind them, the research behind them. And then finally in part three, this is where you go through our guided practice modules, where you are learning your first 30-minute Drone for Seniors class and you are preparing to submit your practical video. Now, touch on the practical video part here. I say practical video and it freaks everybody out, okay? So I just want to put your mind at ease a little bit while I have you here that we are not expecting perfection in your practical video, okay? We just see this as one stop on your learning journey and we want to make sure it's safe. You've got the main moves that are starting to come together. The coaching is developing. We just want to see that you're on the right track. So just know there is a lot of room for making mistakes, getting off track and back on track within your practical video, okay? So what we recommend is the day you decide to sit down or stand up and film it is to hit record and don't hit stop until you're at the end, okay? And I mean, like, I don't care if after 3 minutes you think you've made the biggest mistake of your life and you've totally messed this up, just keep going. Have your notes next to you, grab them, review. Oh, yeah, we're here next if you forget what comes next. And no matter what, just send us the video, okay? Because the worst thing that's going to happen is we're going to say, yeah, you do need a little bit more practice, here, XYZ, this is what you should be working on. And then you'll keep practicing and you'll send it to us again, okay? There's no bad things can happen, okay, by you just sending us that video. And so we just don't want you to film and refilm and be frustrated. Sometimes we get emails saying like, I'm trying to do this and I can't do this. I filmed 20 times and we're like, why have you filmed 20 times? Please send us one of these videos so we can tell you, if you're on the right track. And a lot of times you will be harder on yourself, and it will feel like you've made a bigger mistake than you really have in reality because, being that person in front of the camera is scary. So just know we know that, and we are just looking to see you're on the right track, okay? So it's not as scary as it sounds. Now, the six dimensions of wellness, this is so important, and this is what brings people to your program. I already alluded to this a little bit. So you are going to have participants who the physical is most important for them. They want to come, they want to bang on that drum, they want to work their heart, lungs, brain, their arms, their legs. They want to get that workout, right? And that's great. They're going to definitely get a workout. We'll check the box on that. But another big part of older adults and their top concerns and things they're most interested in is their brain health. And this program is amazing for the brain. When we are drumming, moving our hands, one, bilaterally, unilaterally, crossing, the connections in our brain, the amazing things that are happening, you learn all about that in the course, is so good for the brain, okay? And so if you know someone couldn't care less about falls, moving their body, exercise, but they care about their brain, that's how you want to invite them to the program is, hey, coming to this Drone for Seniors class is one of the best things that you can do for your brain. I'd love for you to try it out. The emotional dimension of wellness. There are some people who are just going through a really hard time. You would think, hey, you're retired, you're coming to exercise classes, yeah, you have some aches and pains, but how bad could it really be? And you'll be very surprised. I was actually teaching a Drone for Seniors class, and I had a participant come up to me afterwards, and she told me how the emotional experience of the class meant so much for her, because she had been having some social anxiety, a little bit of bullying. She was a younger senior living in a retirement community, and she was having trouble connecting with some of the other female residents. And she said the emotional response that she had to being a part of this program really was very, very special to her, and she wanted to thank me for that. So this will hit people on unexpected levels. Yeah, she still got her workout. Yeah, we still did this brain, but she had an emotional experience as well, which is amazing. Also through the music. So again, tons of research about how when we exercise to music, we can exercise at higher intensities and for longer durations because we don't realize how hard we're really working. And drumming is just so fun that that also leads into it as well. Is if you have a group who's maybe deconditioned, not into exercise, you're really trying to get them moving. This can be a really fun way to shake things up, and you'll get some really unexpected people coming to your program. But again, lead. Maybe you have someone who loves music and they're very musical. Lead with that. Hey, come listen to this playlist that we are drumming to today, right? That's how you want to invite them to your program. Vocation or sense of purpose, we want to do our best to create a community with our participants, not just you run everything and they show up, right? When you have people who are helpers, they have a job, a role to play, they will never miss a class. Maybe they hand out the water or help set up the chairs or hand out the sticks or the balls or take attendance. We talk about this in the course. This makes a huge, huge difference. I know sometimes as professionals, we think we have to put on this perfectly planned, perfectly ready situation that they just get to walk into. But when you allow your participants to help with the setup, help with the programming, it really makes a big difference for their sense of self-worth and for them to come to your program. So again, if you know someone who likes to help out, maybe it's saying, hey, will you come help me set up the chairs for this amazing program today? And then I'd love you to stick around and tell me what you think of the class. That could be how you get someone into your Drum for Seniors class. And then the social dimension of wellness. We're in a group right now, but I'm doing all the talking, right? We're not necessarily being social, even though we're in a group setting. And so we see that with a lot of group fitness classes as well, as you're at the front of the room doing your thing and everyone is just staring at you. But it's really interesting. Drumming has this natural social component because we're all creating a beat and a rhythm together. And yeah, sometimes someone hits it off beat and we all kind of giggle or like, oh man, come on, John, get on the beat with us, right? So there's just something more social than a typical exercise class when it comes to drumming. But we try to add in some social connectedness as well. So drumming on our neighbor's ball, hitting sticks with your neighbor. So you're able to truly look side to side and connect with the people in your class too. And then that spiritual dimension of wellness, mostly through that getting grounded and that calm practice, like I said, that inward reflection, that mindfulness, that purposeful breathing. All right, so we've sort of reviewed a little bit of this, but just to recap, what are the steps to becoming an instructor? First, completing the online self-paced modules. You can do it from any device. Takes about 8 to 12 hours to do that first portion. Then you practice your first Drum for Seniors class and then record your practical video. Once you submit your video to us, you will get your results within 2 weeks. Within 48 hours, though, you will know whether this is, moving on to the next stage of marking or if you maybe are in a resubmit scenario. But honestly, that's not going to happen, okay? It hardly ever happens. Only time it really ever happens is when a lot of times a company will sign up their team and then their team really doesn't know what they're supposed to be doing. And then we get like random videos sometimes. So as long as you read the instructions, you give it a go, you are going to be fine. And then once you're certified, you gain access to brand new class content every single month going forward. All right, in terms of pricing, it includes your enrollment in the course plus your first year of monthly class content, 370 US or 466 Canadian. We do have something called annual turnover protection. And so this is important if you're thinking about signing up a team member to take part in the course. Let's say you have an assistant or a fitness instructor who you want to take this course and you're not sure if they're going to be around 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, you can invest in them. And if they were to leave the role, all you do is send us an email and you say, hey, this person left our company. I've just hired this person and we'll transfer the enrollment at no additional cost. So this is meant that you can invest in your team so the people that you serve can enjoy this programming without worrying about whether or not the team member that you select is going to be around a year from now. Okay. We do have department discounts available as well. All right. Ooh, I know we're at time because we started a little bit late. Let me just quickly mention this to you. You'll get these slides at the end as well as the recording, and so you can click on this link in the slides that you're going to get. But we are less than a month away now from kicking off Stand Up to Falls. It is our amazing programming in preparation for Falls Prevention Month. So we're launching a special cohort of the Stronger You Senior Fitness Instructor course that comes with a specialized 4 weeks of programming that you deliver during Falls Prevention Month in November. So this is a special cohort starting in September 8th. September, October, you're going through the course, you're getting certified. November, everyone is launching the program within their communities and their places that they work. So yeah, click here to learn more and join the wait list. We will have a special Stand Up to Falls info session Thursday, August 20th at 12:30 p.m. And one attendee is going to win 50% off their enrollment in the cohort. So again, you can click on here to register for that. Okay, before you run away, I know you guys have to get back to your jobs and your busyness. We are going to do the 50% off Wheel of Names. So let me just get the names here. Oh, actually, Anthony was here last week, so I get to leave Anthony's name on the wheel. Awesome. And I gotta tell you, I don't know, we're gonna have to see if this is rigged because Anthony won last week, so and the odds are really good this week. 20 or is that 20? No, 30% chance. 33% chance. Sorry, Anthony. It's not official though till the confetti flies. Heather! All right, congratulations, Heather. So awesome. So Amanda will have a special uh, um, promo code. Geez, words are getting hard at this hour in the day for you in your follow-up email. So stay tuned for that. Okay. All right. You're so welcome. Now, we are done everything that I have planned. So this is just a time for you to ask questions. Anything I didn't review that you've been wondering, and please don't be shy. This is my favorite part of the session when we get to see if I have any other questions. You can throw them in the chat or just come off mute. Either is totally fine. Anything else? No? Okay. All right. Well, I will leave you then. If as soon as I hit this button to end today's session, you're like, oh, I should have asked that question, stay tuned for Amanda's email, and then she will go ahead and answer any questions that you might have. But yeah, we hope to welcome you to the Drome for Seniors family. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.